really the best.
Well, Thomas Hobbes once said life is short, nasty and brutish if there is no government, and he termed that the obeisant pattern of life, and life becomes chaotic where there is no government. We look at the theory of the state and of course how democracy came upon us and how it started bringing dividends of good governance, and it is upon us as a people, as a country, to continue to deepen the practice of democracy. And we will be looking at the Electoral Act amendment for 2026, which the president not quite long signed, gave assent to. My name is Philip Omo-Gyukmo. This is a beautiful opportunity to say welcome on board with me on a fresh discuss of law and you, where we always elucidate concepts that look shady before you. But this is just to arm you with your rights and duties as a citizen. And of course, I have a legal luminary with me in the studio, and he is Emmanuel Obakpolo. Big thanks for joining, Emmanuel.
It's a delight to be here. Good afternoon.
All right, well, let's look at the backlash. Let's look at all that transpired in 2023, if we are to take a walk down memory lane. And of course, also look at the opposition politicians, that barricaded the National Assembly alongside the civil society activists, demanding that there should be a mandatory course for the bill then, seeking for the transmission of election results, at real time. But that seemed not to, go through. Of course, we are having some setback, in respect of the amendment not sinking in that direction of making it mandatory that election results must be, transmitted, at real time. What you see about the implications for this, looking at our democratic, outlook?
To my mind, we are not practicing democracy in Nigeria. It's what I can refer to as civil rule or military rule garnished with civil flavor. That is what we are practicing in Nigeria. Because if we are to go by the spirit and letters of the Constitution, as provided for in section 14, subsection 2, that sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, sovereignty. Now the question is, where is the sovereignty that belongs to the people of Nigeria? That sovereignty can only be manifest when the people of Nigeria elect who becomes their leader or elect who governs them. That is when that sovereignty, at the point of the election or electing who becomes who governs the people of Nigeria, it simply means that the sovereignty that the people of Nigeria has, they donate it to whoever will rule them. So while the person rules them, the person becomes the servant of the people of Nigeria. But what we saw in the drama that just ensued, where Nigerians took to the streets in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, where they demanded for just two things. One, electronic transmission of results. Two, at real time. And the legislature, including the executive, manipulated Nigerians, wherein they choose election could be transmitted electronically but not at real time. And even at that, there's a caveat in section 3, in section 60 rather, subsection 3, that and what is the caveat? The caveat is that there could also be what do you call it now? The manual process.
Manual collation, yeah.
Collation of results. So you now discover that Nigerians want a situation where they can't elect rather who govern them. But at this time, those who are at the end of affair now choose to tell Nigerians that, look, we have both the knife and the yam, and as such we are going to lift the government above the people of Nigeria. And indeed they just manifested it by lifting the government above the people of Nigeria. Wherein they refused, flagrantly refused, that they were not going to give the people of Nigeria what the people of Nigeria want. So vehemently they took charge and now placed a caveat in line with what the Nigerians demand. What did they do? They succeeded in doing is you take one and we take one. And the essence of all of this drama we have seen in the electoral just signed by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is that they gave room for manipulation. And that is what they tend to do. And already we saw it, they tested it in the Federal Capital Territory Council election, where we saw a lot of drama. Yet they said that INEC is prepared. But once upon a time, we were told in this country that NCC told Nigerians that they have 93% network coverage in the whole of this country. If we can have 93%, it simply means that we have 7%. Then we can improve on the 93 to get the 100%, if that should be the issue, why that caveat was put in that law. But they refuse because they see it that it is not just the PO, the presiding officers during the elections, they will be controlled by those in power. We have already seen it, but again, it is a very terrible situation that Nigerians have found themselves. It shows that we don't want to improve in this country, and it shows that those just now who are at the end of affair just want to remain and stick onto power till God knows when.
Okay, but let's examine this constitutionally and logically. The implications is what we're about. Now, for the very fact that there's also an opportunity to bring about collation of results manually by virtue of the fact that it was not cast in stone that there must be, transmission of election results, at real time. It was even stated as real time, by the, Electoral Act. But the 2026 Electoral Act amendment is already done. By this, does it override the fact that there wouldn't be transmission of election results electronically?
Yes, that is just what they have succeeded in doing. But at the close of the day,
does the Act suggest that?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? It gives a window if there are issues for the electoral officials to fall back to manual collation. It doesn't close the very fact that it can be transmitted electronically. So is that what the Act says?
Mr. Philip, you know that what really opened the eyes of Nigeria to make that demand was the judgment of the Supreme Court in the last presidential election. In INEC rules, guidance and rules, it was stated that elections will be transmitted electronically. But INEC, the same INEC, at a point in the legislative National Assembly elections, nothing happened to the transmission of elections result electronically. It was the presidential.
Okay, but as at that time it was just a rule.
It was a law.
It wasn't having the backing.
To my mind, it was a law.
Okay.
INEC rules and regulation is a law. It is not mere cosmetics.
But it was tested in
court. It was tested in court, and the court said it is mere cosmetics.
Exactly.
But it is not a law.
So we can't go by that.
And that was by virtue
of that experience.
Yes, and that was what made Nigerians to say, okay, if it was a mere cosmetics and not a law, now we want it in the law. We want it to become a law. But again, we saw the caveat. Now, what that simply means is that the PO, that is a presiding officer, will be the one that will determine whether or not election results should be transferred electronically or manually. So
taking us back to where we were.
Yeah. So who controls the PO? How do the vote the electorate?
I don't want us to really look at this like we are being political about it.
No.
But I want us to disabuse our minds from the happenings in Nigeria or the experience in Africa, where some would say that, well, those who are in power are power drunk, and so basically we want to, run the office of that they occupy, towards personal aggrandizement. But away from that, can you see the good that comes with the 2026 Electoral Act Amendment?
I cannot see any good with it. The reason being that, in the words of Lord Akin, he said, and I quote, "Power intoxicates. Absolute power corrupts absolutely." We've come to witness in this military rule garnished with civil flavor, where one man controls everything. One man has made himself a demigod. That is the president. The constitution so gives the president so much power to to the extent that the president of Nigeria can turn a man to a woman or a woman to a man. That is what the constitution provides for. And the president we have just now has taken advantage of that. We are seeing a lot of drama, decamping here and there. They want to infuse Nigeria, they want to force Nigeria to become a one-party state. See, not until Nigerians begin to elect who governs them, we are not going to make any progress. Yes, those in power will be telling you they are making progress. Why? Because they remain in power. So they are progressing. But what about the majority of Nigerians? Are the majority of Nigeria feeling? Are the majority of Nigeria experiencing? Are the majority of Nigeria witnessing the power, the progress that we are making? Yet, it is said that the people of Nigeria have sovereignty. It is the people of Nigeria who donate their power. Which power did the people of Nigeria donate? What power do they have to donate? When the people of Nigeria cannot elect, who govern them? So, that is why we are saying that caveat was the master stroke. You don't put a caveat in a law. We are going to witness another legal tussle.
Okay.
And wherein the courts again will be tested whether or not who wins election in Nigeria. It's still going to go back. Nigerians say we don't want a situation where it is a court that determines who wins an election for us. We Nigerians want to determine who wins an election. But here we are again. Matters will still go to court. And the court will interpret it in their own wisdom. That will now seem to be another drama. And Nigerians will begin to shout. Why is it? So, we Nigerians wanted a situation where we will not have, where even a layman can interpret the law.
Thank you.
In the language that is ought to be. But just now, we are faced with another form of interpretation.
Well, thank you very much, Emmanuel Obakolo. Well, he said the 2026 Electoral Act amendment never came with any good. But we're going to be taking a short break. And after which, we're going to test what he just said. Don't forget, the 2026 Electoral Act amendment is already a legal document, but it's also a factor by which we're going to be testing, the transparency of our elections and how credible the elections are. And basically, for the citizenry to build trust in the electoral umpire INEC, it's important that we look at this, with a microscopic eyes, critically, in order to, dissect and analyze all of this. My name is Philip Omo-Gyukmo. We'll take a short break, and we'll be coming just shortly. Let's look at this 2026 Electoral Act amendment. A lot has been said concerning some good it came with. We understand that the electoral official could suffer jail sentence if sensitive electoral documents are not released by the resident electoral commissioner, for instance. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't think that's, Mr. Philip, let's be realistic.
And of course also which falls on the autonomy given to the electoral umpire in terms of the financial ability to be able to carry out their budget without any unnecessary hiccups, as that has been increased already. And then we also look at the campaigns, the rules, the laws guiding the financial limit at which campaigns will be done by various candidates. That again was also increased. The limit was also increased. I want you to look at this specifically. Would you say critically that this Electoral Act amendment didn't come with any good?
It didn't. Let me tell you, Philip. They tested the Electoral Act 2026 as amended was just tested in the FCT. We saw a situation where the FCT minister declared restriction, not INEC declared the restriction. The FCT minister declared the restriction. Is that not a flaw on that law? And himself that declared this restriction was moving up and down. After having said before that day that those who support President Ahmed Bola Tinubu should just go and vote, that they should leave the rest for him. So, what good has the Electoral Act come with? We are going to see another flagrant abuse of the law.
What about the ability to upload their voters card for new registrants?
What if they tell you that there is no network? As they are already conversing. That is what the problem is. Because they've given themselves the room. The INEC told us in the 2023 presidential election that there were glitches. We are going to see another form of supersonic glitches.
Are you saying that as being a pessimist?
Because I am saying it because of our experience.
Okay, so which means there is this lack of trust.
Yes, already. And I see it. Why, if I may ask, why the caveats? Why the excuse? Somebody argued, some of the politicians now who are in power, who are enjoying themselves and their family, argued that, oh, Nigeria, even in the so-called superpower nations like the United States of America, elections results are not determined at in real time. Can't Nigeria start it? We saw in Kenya.
Nigeria is a developing country.
No, but we saw in Kenya, a developing country.
Though not underdeveloped.
Where the courts, the judiciary, gave opposition judgment in their favor. Even when there's a sitting party. We saw it in Kenya, but can that happen here in Nigeria?
But do you know that it's a huge gulf? Because you made mention of the American polity. Do you know that it's a huge gulf looking at the American polity and that of Nigeria comparatively? Because they've gone developed while we're still being developed.
And what is the meaning of developing?
In the process.
In the process. So in the process we can bring something new and showcase to the whole world. And the whole world can learn from Nigeria.
It's a far cry to pace it with the American polity. That's what I'm talking about.
That is what,
in spite of this, there are still some rooms for the American polity to also, look into another alternative outside transmission of election results electronically. If they can do that as a polity that is being developed, aren't you sure that this is what the lawmakers also saw and needed to, avoid anything that would bring about an ugly incident in the nearest future? Don't forget, we are a heterogeneous people. We have different cultures, different languages, different people trying to come together as one Nigeria. That could also be the reason, logically, why it has to be panned out in that direction. I want you to speak on this.
In America, 50 countries make up America. 50 states make up the United States of America. With different cultures.
That could be the reason why they didn't cast it in stone. So that again could also be a reason why the Nigerian government should also be very careful in rolling out that in the Amendment Act.
In America, they conduct electronic voting. Can we do that here?
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think we will have another opportunity to really brainstorm on this. Big thanks, Emmanuel, for always having time to discuss with us whenever we call on you. This is about you can take on Law and You. I'm Philip Amo Gupon. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contacting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
ITV, certainly the best.
Ojúde aṣáájú ẹ̀ abẹ́rẹ́ pẹ́. Ayaba aṣáájú ẹ̀ abẹ́rẹ́ pẹ́. Adaye aṣáájú ẹ̀ abẹ́rẹ́ pẹ́. Ẹgbẹ̀dúwà.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy. The program Woman to Woman, Amadisuwa Osa Uwage. Building strong family relationship through mutual respect is our topic for today. And the Holy Books did say that the wise woman builds her home and the foolish one scattereth it. And so when anything is happening in a family, people usually point into the house to say, is there no woman in the house? Don't you people have mother? When they see siblings fighting, quarreling all the time, another thing they will say on the street, another get mama, where na mama? You know, everything has to do with the woman. If the family is going to succeed in the hands of the woman, if it is not going to succeed, if it's going to fail it is also in the hands of the woman. So that is why we're going to look at building strong family relationship through mutual respect. Joining me today in the studio is Mabel Adage. She's a teen coach and she does quite a lot for sisterhood, you know, advice and trying to make sisterhood stronger. So nice to have you join us again today, Mabel.
Thank you for having me.
And you look good.
Thank you.
All right, joining us via Zoom is Dorcas Onoge. She's a PR practitioner and also a teen coach. Hello, Dorcas. Okay, it's a pleasure to have you join us today on the program. Now we're looking at building strong family relationship through mutual respect. I'm going to ask both of you this question because you're women. What does respect mean to you in a family setting where you have father, mother, children, and all of that? You know, a family setting, what does respect mean to you? So I'll throw that to you, Adege. Tell us, what does respect means to you in a family context or family setting? Dorcas, you're also going to answer that question.
Okay, thank you for having me today. You know, and before any other thing, we'll first of all look at the meaning of mutual.
Okay.
What is mutual in a simple word? You respect me, I respect you.
Give and take.
Give and take. So I can tell you in a simple word too, respect is give and take.
Okay.
It's not something hard. And you must know people that have gone ahead of you in the family, the people that came first, your senior, your elders, your mom, your brothers. You must make sure that irrespective of the level you are, whether you are a rich man, you are richer than your elders in the family, it has nothing to do with respect. When it comes to respect, whatever you have acquired in life, you have to push it aside. Okay. But it's so bad these days that because of the weight that people have acquired, that weight have swallowed their respect, you know, and they don't longer know who is senior, who is this, who is that.
When money talks, anything can happen. Okay. All right, thank you. Dorcas, talk to me. What does respect mean to you in a family setting or family context?
Family context. Respect. Acknowledging that every member of the family, regardless of age and status, has valid feelings and boundaries. In a family setting, respect means listening, not interrupting. Valuing privacy and taking order, time and efforts as important.
Okay. All right, that's fantastic. Now, going by what both of you have said, in a family where disrespect is the order of the day, father will not respect the mother will not respect the father, and then you expect the children to imbibe respect. I am wondering how that can happen where there is always mutual war, so to speak, in that house. The father goes this way, the mother goes this way. In all of this, how can families prioritize quality time together with respect? I'm with my phone, you're with your phone, daddy is with his phone, mommy is with his phone. Talk to me, Mabel. How can families have quality time together to build mutual respect for development?
Okay, before I answer that question, I want to quickly say, any house that want to retain love,
that want to move forward.
Yes, move forward when it comes to love. It all depends on the mother, the mother and the father.
Okay.
Imagine I am not yet born. Now, I now enter the family. I saw my mom and my dad, they are always fighting. To me, that is how life is. That's the rules and regulations of the house. You know, children can easily learn by what they see. So when you are always fighting, there is no way when you give birth, your children will continue from where you stop. In fact, they will do more. Now, talking about time is tight. We must all know this. Time is expensive, you know, but in a family, everybody just have to cultivate the habit of making time available for each other. Yeah. You can tell me you want to do something tomorrow. I'll tell you, I am busy. We are always busy. Actually, there is no time. A friend of mine said something a few days ago. He said, I wish God can create add another extra hours to 24 hours or 12, because it's not enough. It's not enough. There are times you list out activities that you want to do in a day, but at the age, sometimes you might not be able to complete all of them. The reason is because there is no time. Time is tight. Time is scarce.
Okay.
So everybody must make themselves available to love one another, create time for each other.
Okay, thank you so much. Dorcas, you heard what Mabel said, that time is tight, there is no time. Okay, in all of this, there is no time thing. Father is busy, mother is busy, children are left on their own. They do not know what the children are doing. Do you know that in some homes, incest is the order of the day?
Yeah.
Because number one, there is nobody supervising those children. They are left on their own. So when the parent does not have time, the father does not have time, maybe these children are left under the care of one person or the other, and this person is taking advantage of these children. The children are taking advantage of themselves and they are committing incest. They are not behaving like normal children. Dorcas, what do we do? How do we find that time that Mabel said is very tight?
Always parents, no matter how busy you think you are, create time for your family. Create time to talk to them, and also create time, the one that is more important, to listen to them. It's only when you give a listening ear that you can get information from your children. You have to create that time to talk with them. You have to create that time to communicate with them. No matter how busy you are, 5 minutes is something, 10 minutes is something, 30 minutes is something. Most times we spend those times doing nothing with our phones. When I mean doing nothing important with our phones, we can put those times, we can put it together and spend it with the children. Because when you create this time for them, you discuss with them, you talk to them, and you have time to tell them this is what is right and this is what is wrong. If anything like this happens, let me know. Then you also ask them from time to time, what is it that you want to tell me? What do you want to tell me? What do you want to tell daddy? Give them that listening ear. And not that there. When you have time, create that time for them.
Okay,
you have to create that time.
Yes, they should create time. The role of communication can never be overemphasized in a family setting. But unfortunately, the line of communication have been damaged by parents. And the children too are emulating this. How do we fix that, Mabel?
Okay. I think I will focus this to mothers, because this is
now our problem. Okay, focus.
Let me focus it on women out there. You know, men are the head of the house. We are made to know this, that men are the head of the house. But of recent, they say women is the neck, while men is the head. But I want every woman out there to know that without the neck, there is no head. The head cannot stand. Every woman out there should make sure that they create time for their children. Because if you are waiting for your husband, when it comes to communication to your children, you will miss it. There is what we call love 77.
I beg, explain. Love 77.
Law, L-A-W.
77.
77. Before you leave in the house, before you leave the house in the morning, every mother is expected to talk to their children 7 minutes.
Okay.
When they are back from work or school, you are expected to talk to them for another 7 minutes. Then before they go to bed, you are also entitled to that 7 minutes. And this 7 laws of a
Law
thing
7 I like
goes,
that.
yeah, goes to the working class lady out there, and those that will leave home around 6 a.m., especially the market women, and return back 6. It's now 6 to 6:10. Before you come, your children are already parabolating. Some, if they can steal, they will steal because they are hungry. And there is another thing too. Children always have this nature of a thing, like nature kind of character, but it is expected of the parents in the house to nurture them the way they want the children to be. You must not leave them to their nature. You must nurture them to the way you and the society, quotes, want them to be.
Okay. All right, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll ask more questions. Do stay with us. Thank you for staying tuned. We're talking about building strong family relationship through mutual respect. Okay, Dorcas, you heard what Mabel said. Now, let me ask you this question. In a home where the children behave like how do I put it now? I don't want to be disrespectful to our children or use derogatory words. They behave without proper home training. You see children fighting on the street. You see children fighting themselves. The senior brother is not talking to the junior brother. The senior sister is not talking to the younger sister. This one is doing her own. That one is doing her own. They are behaving like children from Banana Republic, so to speak. What is the fault of the mother and what is the fault of the father in all of this? Dorcas.
When you look at situations like this, you come to realize that from the beginning, they have what we call favoritism to some children. And with that, when they are being corrected, they feel my mother is in support of what I am doing, my father is in support of what I am doing. Who do you think you are? And before you know it, it will grow out of hand. When parents see their children victimizing another child in the same house, they should correct them with love and try to inculcate in them that spirit of love, no matter what. You let them know that yes, you will have your differences, but you know what? You must love your siblings, you must respect them, you must take them for who they are. Because when we nurture our children to live with their siblings, with their irrespective of their uniqueness, you will understand that yes, you will see the one that is more intelligent, you see the one that is more beautiful, you see the one that is very active, you see the one that is very quiet and all that. The parents should make the children to understand that everybody cannot be the same. Be the most vocal person doesn't mean that you are better than any of your other siblings. So with all this attitude, when you inculcate it in your child, when they are growing up, so when they come out to the society, they will also see every other child as a unique being and treat them the way they are.
But is it possible for a parent to love their children equally? Is it possible for a mother or a father to love their children equally?
Yes. When you show them the same love, irrespective of how they are, their talents and their show them love. They will know that this is who they are and they are loved for that. But when you as a parent or as a mother, as a father, you are beginning to push a child aside. You are too slow for my liking, go away. But that is the nature of that child. The other sibling will take suit. Maybe if he happened to be the first child or so, you will see the younger one even talking back at him, go away, you are too slow. Because that's what they hear the parents tell him every time. So, but when they show that kind of child love, the other ones are going to also grow up to love him for who he is. Giving as an example now, if it's a girl child that is very smart, this is your smartness, everybody wants to show love. No, when you love your children equally, irrespective of their talent, irrespective of their ability, you will make it easier for them to blend with the society. and also to make it easier for the younger ones, for the siblings to grow together.
That's fantastic. That's why you are a teen coach, though. All right, let me deviate a bit. Now, do you know that some children are older than their parents? In the sense that they dictate to their parents what they want to be done. Particularly that child, that teenage child who brings money to the house. And the parents are not really bothered where the money is coming from. You know, so there is what is called, should we call it role changing now? The mother is now the daughter and the daughter is now the mother. You know, how can we handle that? Mabel? When people don't big person,
I don't
mama.
want to use the word that it will be very hard, because it is the mother that places herself in such situation. This actually happen on a daily basis. When you go to some home, especially where they have youths or big teenagers, they can go outside and fetch money from guys out there. Automatically, whether the character of that child is wayward, automatically that child will become the best child, the most charitable child in that home. Why? Because there is already I don't know the right word to use, because that one is the parents are already benefiting
from that child.
Automatically
that child can do anything.
You want to eat, you are asking your child, Alpha, what are we eating today? What are you bringing to the table? Meaning you have sold your rights as a mother to your child, and you are not the child, while the child is not the mother.
I'm just wondering how that child can respect the mother.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this question now, Dorcas. What are some family values that we can instill in our children to foster this much talked about development and love and bonding that we want in a family? What are some family values that you think can be instilled as a teen coach?
Like as I was saying before, that spirit of respect, teach them to respect mother. No matter what, they should be respected. When I mean respect, the mothers, being the parent or whoever you are in the family, even that smallest child in that house needs to be respected. There is this sense of belonging that you feel when you get respect as a younger person in a home. And as a mother, or yes, as a parent, you should ensure that you treat your children equally and teach them to respect each other. We have the loud ones in the home, we have the quiet ones in the home, we also have the one that like fighting in the home. So it's your duty to always tell that child that, look, this thing you're doing is wrong. Stop fighting your other siblings.
Okay.
And you know what? They love you. You should always correct to fix the problem.
Okay.
Don't correct to start to becoming so judgmental about what has gone wrong.
Okay. All right, so how can we now show love and respect in our daily interactions? How can we show love and respect for one another in a family, in our daily interactions?
One, we have to give ourselves a listening ear. Let's listen to ourselves. We have to listen to ourselves. And we have to reduce, we have to teach our children how to be sorry for what they have done. When you say respect, you also have to teach them that no one is above mistake. And if anyone should make mistake, that one should not be the reason why that one should be to automatically become the black sheep in the home.
Dorcas, Maybe let's hear your own before we wrap up.
How can we show our children respect?
Every day. Everyday interaction. You show love. When Papa and Mama do not say I love you, I wonder where the children will not get it from. Let's go.
I think everybody should know. When you know your place, you will know how to show love.
Okay.
Know how to position, like when you know the position you belong. You know, when I was talking earlier, I said, when you recognize elders in the family, you will know that I'm to respect these people. They are not my mates at all. And if there is no love between the mother and the father, it might be difficult for the children to experience love.
Okay.
Because I can say the love of foundation in the family comes from the father and the mother.
Okay.
So every mother and father out there, imagine you see your mother and your father, they are playing. You know, before you know, the children will like, not like this EBO, we need to also buy from this. Okay. And another thing I want to say, you know, when Dorcas was talking, I want to advise that every mother out there should get a book that contains temperament things.
Okay.
So when you understand temperament in the life of your children, you will know how to follow them.
All right, ladies, I want to say thank you so much for helping us in discussing this topic, building strong family relationship through mutual respect. Do I have to say more? No. Thank you so much for coming, Mabel. And thank you so much, Dorcas, for joining us. And we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
This is ITV. Certainly the best.
ITV. Certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.